Fame, fortune, and felonies collide. When celebrities cross the line, does justice still apply? 4 stars, 4 shocking allegations, from a rapper's deadly revenge plot to a Hollywood actor's darkest secrets. The truth behind the headlines starts now on Crime Representor. On a warm August evening in Los Angeles, as the lights of a gas station illuminated the night, 18 gunshots shattered the calm. The bullets missed their intended target, but claimed an innocent life instead. Behind this violent moment was allegedly one of hip-hop's biggest stars and a multi-million-dollar empire built on music and, according to prosecutors, murder. Grammy winner Lil Durk, born Dirk Devontae Banks, stands accused of orchestrating an elaborate murder-for-hire plot against rival rapper Quando Rondo that stemmed from a years-long deadly feud in the dangerous intersection of music, fame, and street violence. Today on Crime Representor, we examine how one of drill music's founding fathers went from Grammy stages to facing potential life imprisonment, and the hidden world of hip-hop feuds that sometimes spill beyond lyrics into actual bloodshed. In 2020, the hip-hop world was rocked when rising star King Von was gunned down outside an Atlanta nightclub following an altercation with rapper Quando Rondo. According to federal authorities, this killing set in motion a chain of events that would ultimately lead to Lil Durk's arrest in 2025. Prosecutors allege that Durk, as the leader of the Chicago-based collective Only the Family (OTF), placed a monetary bounty on Quando Rondo's life. Court documents paint a chilling picture of what happened next. On August 18, 2022, nearly 2 years after King Von's death, Durk's associates allegedly discovered Rondo was staying at a Los Angeles hotel. What followed was a carefully coordinated operation. 5 suspects flew from Chicago to San Diego, then drove to Los Angeles. An OTF associate named Keon Grant allegedly arrived by private jet, secured hotel rooms, purchased ski masks, and obtained luxury sedans. Grant allegedly distributed firearms to the hit team. The next day, the group tracked Rondo's movements across Los Angeles. At a gas station near the Beverly Center, the hit team opened fire. 18 bullets struck the vehicle, killing Xavier Robinson, Rondo's 24-year-old cousin, while Rondo escaped. The case against Lil Durk involves complex federal charges including conspiracy to commit murder for hire resulting in death. These charges carry potential life sentences. What makes this case particularly significant is how prosecutors are targeting Durk as the alleged mastermind rather than just the triggerman. 5 co-conspirators have already been arrested, and court documents suggest authorities are methodically working their way up the chain of command. Legal analysts suggest prosecutors will likely attempt to flip lower-level defendants to build their case against Durk. To understand this case fully, we must examine the world of drill rap, a controversial hip-hop subgenre that originated in Chicago. Drill music is characterized by its violent lyrics and authentic connections to street life. Artists like Lil Durk, Chief Keef, and G Herbo pioneered this style, which often reflects and sometimes glorifies the realities of gang violence in Chicago. But when does art cross the line into reality? When do lyrics become blueprints for actual violence? The case raises profound questions about the relationship between artistic expression and criminal liability. Is Durk being targeted for his music, his associations, or actual criminal conduct? And what responsibility do successful artists have when they maintain connections to street organizations? Beyond the headlines and legal proceedings, we must remember the human cost. Xavier Robinson, just 24 years old, lost his life in this alleged revenge. King Von, whose real name was Davon Bennett, was only 26 when he was killed in 2020. These aren't just names in court documents, they were young men with families, dreams, and future. As Lashina Weekly, mother of another murdered Chicago rapper FBG Duck, poignantly expressed, "Not a day goes by that I don't think about him and the life that was taken from him." This case represents a significant moment in how law enforcement approaches violence in the hip-hop industry. Federal authorities are increasingly using conspiracy charges and RICO statutes to target entire organizations rather than individual acts of violence. For artists who maintain connections to their communities of origin, particularly those with ties to neighborhoods affected by gang activity. This case serves as a stark warning about the potential legal consequences when music and street life intersect. As this case progresses through the legal system, several questions remain. Will any of the co-defendants cooperate with prosecutors? What evidence do authorities have linking Durk directly to the murder plot? How will this case affect the drill music scene and hip-hop more broadly? What precedent might this set for future prosecutions involving musical artists? The case against Lil Durk represents more than just another celebrity legal scandal. It's a complex intersection of music, violence, loyalty, and the law. As we continue to follow this case, we're reminded of how the line between art and life can sometimes blur with tragic consequences. What do you think? Is this a case of an artist being unfairly targeted because of his music and background? Or does maintaining connections to street organizations while achieving fame come with inherent risks? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Before you go, if you found this analysis informative, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Crime Representer for more in-depth explorations of cases that shape our understanding of crime, justice, and society. Turn on notifications to stay updated as this case develops. Remember, understanding these stories isn't about glorifying crime, it's about learning from them to create safer communities for everyone. In the realm of celebrity justice, few cases demonstrate the complexity of truth and accusation more clearly than the recent lawsuit filed against country music icon Garth Brooks. Behind the headlines and social media reactions lies a developing legal situation that raises important questions about power dynamics in the entertainment industry, the nature of allegations, and the presumption of innocence in the court of public opinion. Today on Crime Representer, we examine the allegations against Garth Brooks, his response, and the broader implications of high-profile cases like this one. According to court documents filed in the California Supreme Court in Los Angeles County, a professional makeup artist and hairstylist with over 3 decades of experience in the music industry has brought serious allegations against Brooks. The plaintiff, identified only as Jane Roe to protect her privacy, claims that what began as a professional relationship eventually led to sexual assault. The lawsuit states that Roe initially worked with Brooks's wife, Trisha Yearwood, beginning in 1999, and later began working directly with Brooks himself. According to the complaint, Brooks allegedly hired Roe more frequently, starting in after learning she was experiencing financial difficulties. The most serious allegation describes an incident in May 2019, during a professional trip to Los Angeles. The plaintiff claims she traveled with Brooks on his private jet where they were the only 2 passengers. Upon arrival at their hotel, she alleges she discovered Brooks had booked a suite with only 1 bedroom, leaving her without separate accommodation. In this situation, she claims she felt trapped when Brooks allegedly exposed himself and sexually assaulted her. In a public statement responding to these allegations, Brooks categorically denied the claim. He described being hassled to no end with threats, lies, and tragic tales, and characterized the situation as having a loaded gun waved in my face. Brooks stated that he would not pay what he termed hush money, as doing so would be admitting to behavior I am incapable of, ugly acts no human should ever do to another. Notably, Brooks revealed that he had actually filed his own lawsuit against the accuser nearly a month prior to her filing, alleging extortion and defamation of character. His statement concluded with an expression of trust in the legal system and a denial of being the man they have painted me to be. This case highlights several important legal concepts that are often misunderstood in public discourse. Competing lawsuits. With Brooks claiming he filed first against his accuser for extortion and defamation, and the accuser subsequently filing her own lawsuit alleging sexual assault, the court will need to evaluate both claims independently. In civil cases like this, the standard is preponderance of evidence rather than the beyond reasonable doubt standard used in criminal cases. This means the court will determine which version of events is more likely than not to be true. Privacy concerns. The accuser's use of a pseudonym, Jane Roe, reflects the common practice of protecting accusers' identities in sensitive cases, while Brooks's statement mentioned filing his lawsuit anonymously, for the sake of families on both sides. These allegations emerge within a larger societal conversation about how power operates in the entertainment industry. The Me Too movement has highlighted how professional relationships can sometimes be exploited, particularly when significant power imbalances exist. At the same time, this case also raises questions about the presumption of innocence and the potential for false accusations. Brooks's counterclaim of extortion suggests a narrative where financial motives might be driving the allegation. As this case progresses, several factors will be crucial in determining its outcome. What documentation, communications, or other evidence might exist to support either party's claim? Witness testimony. Will others who worked with Brooks and the accuser provide relevant testimony about their professional relationship? Timeline. The significance of Brooks filing his lawsuit first, and how that might impact the credibility of the subsequent allegation. Cases like this invite us to consider difficult questions about how we approach allegations of serious misconduct. How do we balance the imperative to take allegations seriously with the presumption of innocence? What responsibilities do media outlets have when reporting on unproven allegations? How do power dynamics in professional relationships create vulnerabilities? The allegations against Garth Brooks remain just that, allegations that have yet to be proven in court. As this case unfolds, it will offer insights into how our justice system handles competing claims involving public figures, and how the court of public opinion influences and is influenced by legal proceedings. What do you think about how media should cover allegations before they're proven in court? How do we balance the rights of accusers to be heard with the presumption of innocence? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Before you go, if you found this analysis thought-provoking, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Crime Representer for more nuanced examinations of complex legal cases. Turn on notifications to stay updated as this story develops. Remember, understanding these legal battles helps us develop a more informed perspective on justice, accountability, and the challenges of separating fact from allegation in high-profile cases. When professional athletes step outside the arena of competition, their actions can sometimes lead them into an entirely different kind of fight, one that takes place in courtrooms rather than boxing rings. Today on Crime Representer, we examine the case of boxing star Ryan Garcia, whose recent legal troubles highlight the intense personal pressures faced by high-profile athletes and the real-world consequences that can follow moments of public misconduct. What drives a celebrated athlete to allegedly cause thousands of dollars in damage to a luxury hotel? And what can this incident teach us about impulse control, emotional crisis management, and the legal system's approach to property crimes? On June 8, the pristine elegance of the Waldorf Astoria in Beverly Hills, a sanctuary of luxury for the wealthy and famous, became the scene of an alleged destructive outburst. According to authorities, 25-year-old boxing phenom Ryan Garcia caused approximately $15,000 worth of damage to the property, though specific details about what exactly was damaged remain unclear. The Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office has now charged Garcia with one misdemeanor count of vandalism of $400 or more in damage or destruction of property. If convicted, Garcia could face up to 1 year in county jail, a stark reminder that even misdemeanor charges can carry significant consequences. What makes this case particularly compelling is the backdrop against which it occurred. According to a statement from Garcia's attorney, Darren Chavez, the incident took place during an extraordinarily challenging time for Ryan, as he has been grappling with devastating news regarding his mother's health. This personal crisis coincided with professional turmoil. Just weeks before the hotel incident, Garcia was suspended for a year by the New York State Athletic Commission after testing positive for performance-enhancing drugs. His April 20 victory over Devin Haney was subsequently ruled a no contest, a devastating professional setback for the young bucks. District Attorney George Gascon's statement on the case offers insight into how the legal system views property crimes. While we are grateful no injuries were reported in this incident, reckless behavior that damages property shows a blatant and unacceptable disregard for the safety and peace of our community. This statement reflects a common prosecutorial approach to vandalism cases, framing them not merely as crimes against property, but as disturbances to community peace and potential threats to public safety. Interestingly, a second individual initially arrested in connection with the incident, identified as Celeste Cardio, will not face charges due to insufficient evidence, according to the DA's office. This detail raises questions about the specific roles each person may have played in the alleged vandalism. From a psychological perspective, this case invites us to consider how individuals, especially those under intense public scrutiny, manage emotional crises. When faced with both personal trauma, concern over a parent's health, and professional devastation, a suspension and invalidated victory, even highly disciplined athletes may experience emotional regulation challenges. Boxing requires extraordinary self-control within the ring. Paradoxically, this same ability to contain and channel aggression in professional settings sometimes makes the release of emotions in personal contexts more explosive when control finally breaks down. For Garcia, the legal consequences extend beyond the potential jail time. As a professional athlete whose career depends on travel, licensing, and public image, even a misdemeanor conviction could have ripple effects on his boxing future. Athletic commissions often consider criminal history when making licensing decisions, and sponsors may reconsider relationships with athletes who develop legal problems. Additionally, if Garcia is required to serve any jail time, this could further interrupt his training schedule and competitive calendar, extending the professional impact of the suspension he's already facing. Lessons and reflections. This case offers several valuable lessons. Crisis management. The importance of having support systems and coping strategies in place when facing both personal and professional crises. Legal consequences. Understanding that moments of emotional distress can lead to legal consequences that extend far beyond the moment of crisis. Public responsibility. The unique responsibilities public figures bear when they choose to stay in public spaces during times of emotional vulnerability. Property respect. The significant legal and financial consequences that can follow damage to property, especially in high-value locations. As Ryan Garcia prepares for his August 7th arraignment, his case stands as a reminder that even celebrated athletes face the same legal system as everyone else. The boxing ring has clear rules and referees, but in the real world, actions have consequences that no athletic commission can overturn. What do you think? Should courts consider personal circumstances like family health crises when determining penalties for non-violent crime? Or should public figures be held to an even higher standard, given their visibility and influence? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this analysis informative, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Crime Representor for more explorations of cases that highlight the complex intersection of celebrity, law, and human behavior. Turn on notifications to follow this case as it develops through the legal system. Remember, understanding these stories helps us all make better choices when facing our own moments of crisis, and reminds us that emotional regulation skills are just as important outside the ring as they are within it. Behind the glossy veneer of Hollywood success stories often lie deeply troubling personal narratives that only emerge years later. On Crime Representer today, we examine the ongoing retrial of actor Danny Masterson, best known for his role in That Set, who faces serious allegations that challenge our understanding of consent, power dynamics in relationships, and the complex intersection of intimate partner abuse and sexual violence. What can this high-profile case teach us about the gradual escalation of controlling behavior? How do institutional responses to allegations affect survivors' ability to seek justice? And what happens when criminal behavior allegedly occurs within long-term relationships? In a Los Angeles courtroom, Masterson's former girlfriend of 5 years recently took the stand with a disturbing account that has captured public attention. Dating back to November 2001, when Masterson was rising to fame on a popular sitcom, The model described what she characterized as the culmination of an increasingly abusive relationship. According to her testimony, there had been previous instances where she awakened to find Masterson initiating sexual contact without her consent, situations where she said she had acquiesced to avoid conflict. However, she described the November 2001 incident as fundamentally different, testifying that she explicitly refused consent and physically resisted. "I told him no, I don't want to have sex. He didn't listen to me," she stated in court. Her testimony grew more emotional as she recounted, "So I continued pleading with him, like, please get off of me, no. And he was continuing. And it was painful. And I remember trying to push his chest up off of me. I couldn't get him off of me." She described Masterson allegedly pinning her arms above her head. In a desperate attempt to stop the assault, she testified that she violated one of his established rules by pulling his hair, after which she claims he struck her in the jaw, spat on her and left the room. This testimony comes during Masterson's retrial on 3 counts of rape involving 3 different women between 2001 and the first trial ended with a deadlocked jury unable to reach a verdict on any of the counts. If convicted on all charges, the 47-year-old actor could face up to 45 years in prison. Masterson has pleaded not guilty, and his defense team maintains that the women's accounts contain inconsistencies that undermine their credibility. As with any criminal trial, Masterson is presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Understanding relationship dynamics. From a psychological perspective, this case illustrates several important concepts about intimate partner abuse. Escalation pattern. The witness described a gradual intensification of controlling and abusive behavior over the course of their 5-year relationship, consistent with what experts identify as common in abusive dynamics. Established rules. Her reference to Masterson's rules about not touching his hair or face suggests a relationship with clear power imbalances and control mechanisms. Prior acquiescence versus active consent. Her testimony distinguishes between previous instances where she accepted sex to avoid conflict, and this incident where she actively refused and resisted, an important distinction for understanding consent. Delayed reporting. Like many cases involving intimate partner violence, the allegations emerged years after the relationship ended, reflecting common patterns in how survivors process and report abuse. One particularly notable aspect of this case involves the witness's testimony about institutional responses to her allegation. She stated that when she reported the incident to an ethics officer at the Church of Scientology, she was advised against using the word rape and discouraged from reporting to law enforcement. The church has denied discouraging members from reporting criminal conduct. This raises important questions about how various institutions, whether religious organizations, workplaces, or social groups, respond to allegations of sexual violence, and whether they support or impede access to formal justice system. Cases involving allegations of sexual assault within established relationships present unique challenges for the criminal justice system. Consent boundaries. Courts must navigate complex questions about consent within ongoing relationships. Pattern evidence. Prosecutors often seek to establish patterns of controlling or abusive behavior, to contextualize specific criminal allegations. Delayed reporting. When allegations emerge years after incidents, evidence collection becomes more challenging, and memories may be called into question. Cross-examination trauma. Witnesses must face rigorous questioning about deeply personal experiences, potentially causing secondary trauma. This case illustrates several important societal lessons. Consent is ongoing. Consent must be freely given each time intimate contact occurs, regardless of relationship history or prior consent. Power dynamics matter. Fame, financial resources, and social status can create imbalances that complicate consent and reporting. Institutional responsibility. Organizations have ethical and sometimes legal obligations regarding how they handle disclosures of potential criminal conduct. Justice system challenges. The criminal justice system faces significant challenges in adjudicating allegations that emerge years after incidents and involve complex relationship histories. As this case continues through the legal system, it serves as a powerful reminder that criminal behavior can occur within established relationships, that consent must be affirmatively given regardless of relationship status, and that survivors often face complex barriers to reporting and seeking justice. What do you think about the unique challenges presented when allegations involve long-term relationships? How should our justice system balance the rights of the accused with support for those who come forward with allegations years later? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this analysis informative, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Crime Representer for more nuanced examinations of cases that illuminate important societal issues. Turn on notifications to follow developments in this case and others like it. Remember, understanding these complex cases helps us create safer relationships and communities by recognizing warning signs and supporting systems that respond effectively to allegations of abuse.